So I think the best way that we can kick this off this evening is to hear from a member of the Gage family. So please make welcome to this stage Chris's son, Casey.
See the two knobs on the amp down there? Yeah. Make sure they're wide open.
They are, as in both. Yeah. Come on up, buddy. Casey Gage!
Am I here? Are we live? Hello, everybody. Ben, thank you so much for the great introduction, for kicking this off, getting us started. Everybody, thank you for being here. It's amazing to look out into this room. I've looked out into this room for many, many years at lots of this crowd for the whole time, right? I think I spent my 21st birthday, as did my older brother, as did my wife, as did our other brother. It's kind of what we did, right? This is, as it was said, more than a community, more than friends. It is family. Please bear with me as I try to keep it together. No, because that's what everything here means. It wouldn't be the first time I've cried in Dawn's either, right? Like, come on, let's be real. If you haven't cried in Dawn's, you didn't do it right. You didn't feel it. You didn't get into it. You laugh, you cry, you cheer. It's Dawn's. I've been raised by this community as a child, all the way back. Born in South Dakota, raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma, dad running around with Roy Clark. I'd get to stay up late and watch him on Hee Haw. That's where I got to see dad sometimes, and it was amazing. And then he'd come home and teach us how to ride a bike and throw a baseball and chop down a tree if we had to, or take me to get stitches, because I probably needed those when he got back. So all that going on, all while riding that tour bus and having Roy Clark and the band teach me about life a little bit. Okay, so not all the best lessons, not maybe the best role models, but I learned a lot. And that's from this community, that's from this family. Coming to Austin, I'm losing that. Coming to Austin, and then, I was 9, and there's a recording studio in our garage, and all these people that pop in and out, names that I didn't know then, and that now I still know later, and that I see, and we shake hands, and it's this family of, they're all uncles to me at the end of the day. You know, these aunt and uncles that sang in my garage as I played basketball and skinned my knee. That's how I got brought up, in this community. Lots of y'all were there, right? I shouldn't admit this, maybe don't listen, right? But it wasn't 21st birthday the first time I came into Dawn's Depot. Right? This was the 90s, maybe it was a little looser. And they said, sure, Casey, you can order a drink. And I said, all right, great, can I get a shot of Jack with a beer back? They're going, hold on, Chris, what's going on here? Well, I mean, I grew up in this community, right? This is my family. It wasn't, I'd go home late at night after my party with my friends, and there's dad in the recording studio mixing and editing and having a bourbon. And he's like, well, why don't you have a sip and listen with me? And I'm like, Dad, I don't hear it. They all sound the same to me. That's the magic of a musician like my dad. He heard it all. He knew every detail. If you knew him, you heard it too. He did it in his performances. He showed us his heart in this room. He showed it everywhere. And I think that's what all of us are here to talk about today, is what the impression a man like Chris Gage can do to an entire city. We're live, I don't know where. This is nationwide, worldwide. I know there's people all over the place listening right now, from their tours in Germany, from their places all over the world that are going, yeah, I remember Albert and Gage, or I remember Chris Gage back in Russia with Roy Clark, or this has been going on forever worldwide. So thank you, everyone who came together to do this, who joined hands to watch my dad change the world in my eyes. And as I became an adult, and as I became a father, I learned what it really took to do that. The sacrifices that were made, the things that were done. I remember telling a story when I was working in a restaurant in Florida and saying, oh, my dad told me once that he was gonna go join Brooks and Dunn, but then we moved to Austin instead. And they're going, have you talked, you said Brooks and Dunn? Like, wait a minute, what would he have been doing? I said, well, Roy Clark to Brooks and Dunn, it all kind of adds up in my brain. It's just normal life, right? Like, well, no, that's not normal life. Like, there's times that we make sacrifices for our loved ones, that we make those choices to go, I need to be there for the ones that need me. That's when you got to teach me how to drive and teach me how to, you know, try not to get in trouble and maybe pick me up from the party that I didn't need to drive home for, or let me drive you home from the party because you were at Dawn's too late and I had to come get you, right? Whichever one it may be. All of it comes down to an amazing man, an amazing musician that brought us all together and leads me to be able to see so many other amazing musicians pull off their craft. To each of you that will step on this stage after me tonight, thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. And let's keep doing that for 100 more years right on this stage, because that's what he wants.